Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In this video we'll talk about the second main makhraj, which is Al-Halq. We will split it into three different areas and start talking about two of the letters that come out from Al-Halq. So Bismillah, let's go ahead. Firstly, the halq is divided into three main areas. One is aqsa al-halq, which means the furthest point away in the halq, or the deepest point around here, where the vocal cords are. And we say deepest point or furthest point, it's furthest from the lips. And then there's wasat al-halq, which is the middle part of the halq, where your epiglottis is. And the epiglottis is that little body part that closes your airways versus your digestive system. And then the third area of the halq is adna al-halq, which is where the root of the tongue is within the halq, or the top part of the halq. So the three areas once again: aqsa al-halq, which is the furthest area of the halq; wasat al-halq, which is the middle area of the halq; and adna al-halq is the closest part of the halq. So let's talk about the first one, aqsa al-halq, the furthest area of the halq. There are two letters that come from the furthest area of the halq, or aqsa al-halq, which is Hamza and ha. Hamza means a or sama, that Hamza, and the ha like ihdina and fih. So what happens in that area, or aqsa al-halq, the deepest part of the halq, is there's two vocal cords. And that's really what makes the difference between the Hamza and the Ha. And that's the mechanism of producing the letters within aqsa al-halq. So with the Hamza, there's two vocal cords. With the Hamza, they're collided, or they're right next to each other, and they're completely closed. And when we say a, the vocal cords move away from each other to make that sound. A. Or if the Hamza is sakina, for example, as-sama, we say as-sama, sama. So the vocal cords close or collide with each other and close off completely. Now this is a very important point. We'll have some images come up in a second. The ha, which is the second letter from the same area, from where the vocal cords are, aqsa al-halq, the deepest part of the halq. When the ha comes out, the vocal cords are partially open. Ha, ha. And when we stop on the ha, fee, the vocal cords are slightly open. Now let's talk to some pictures. So this is the diagram of the halq. When we talk about aqsa al-halq, so the halq area is there, the area I'm pointing to now. When we talk about aqsa al-halq, we talk about this area here where the vocal cords are. That's where aqsa al-halq is. And the letters that we said come from there are Hamza and Ha. When we talk about the middle of the halq, or wasat al-halq, we're talking about this. This is the epiglottis right here, when you see that little red bulb there, or protrusion. So that is the epiglottis there, and that area is the middle of the halq. And the adna al-halq, or the closest area of the halq, is where the root of the tongue is. That's adna al-halq. So again, here, that whole area here I'm highlighting now, that's the whole halq. We've got the furthest part down, we've got the middle, and we've got the closest part. And you can see here, there's an image right there. That image is the two vocal cords. So that's how it looks like with the Hamza. You can see the two white lines. These are the two vocal cords. So as we said with the Hamza, the vocal cords close or collide completely when the Hamza is sakina. Sama, sama. Now let's look at the difference with the ha. So the next slide here, this is the ha. So when we look at the ha, the same area, it comes out from aqsa al-halq. But you look at the image here, these are the two vocal cords we're talking about. So the two vocal cords are slightly open, or partially open. You can see the two white lines there, how they're partially open. That's how the ha comes out. So why do we talk about the vocal cords, and why is that important? Well, let's take an example of where a Hamza might not be pronounced properly like a Hamza because the vocal cord action wasn't purely correct. So if we say ya'ti, ya'ti, this Hamza, which is sakina, what should happen to the vocal cords? Ya'ti, ya'ti, they should come and collide and close off completely. However, the mistake is if we say yati, yati, ya, that means we haven't closed the vocal cords completely. An even better example is the word as-sama. When you stop on the Hamza, as-sama, the vocal cords say as-sama, collide and there's no sound, sama. It's cut off completely. However, the mistake is if we say as-sama, that means we've opened the vocal cords when there's a little hat that came out with it. So the vocal cord should be completely sealed off, closed, collided. No voice comes out when you stop on a Hamza sakina. While on the other hand, if we say fi, fi, the vocal cords are slightly open and the sound and the wind goes through it. Here is once again that image with a bit more detail. The Hamza on the right here, see the vocal cords completely sealed off. The ha partially open. So you can see that the vocal cords there and the airways. This is looking down into your mouth or into the throat. All right, so to summarize the key points, there's a lot of detail there in biology, but really the summary of the key points is the throat or the halq is one of the main makhraj. There's 3 areas within the halq. Can you try to remember them? Al-Halq, the deepest part. Al-Halq, the middle part. Al-Halq, the closest part to the lips. And from Al-Halq, the furthest part in, 2 letters come out, the Hamza and the Ha. And the key point there is the Hamza and the Ha have to do with the vocal cords. With the Hamza, the vocal cords collide and close completely when it is sakin. With the Ha, the vocal cords are slightly open when you pronounce the Ha. So that's the first area of the halq, and in the next video we'll talk about wasat al-halq and what letters come from there. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.